Guys, welcome back to part 2 of living with past labs. If you have not seen part 1, please watch my previous video where I went over the pros of past labs. But today's video is about the cons of past labs in general. And again, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. This is my personal opinion on cons. Okay, this may not be your personal opinion. This may not be your personal experience, but it is mine. Okay, and I am going to be as open as possible, and I am going to be as truthful as possible without being ruthless. Okay, I have to keep it as diplomatic as possible. So here we go. Cons of past labs. First con for past labs amplifiers is they do nothing excellent. Everything sounds good. Nothing sounds excellent. Nothing makes your jaw drop. Okay? I believe that this is one of the reasons that they have somewhat been successful, but also I think it's their biggest knock is that they have continued to do the same thing over and over and over again, and they continue to do what they have been doing for decades. But I don't believe they excel at anything. Does that make sense? They do not excel at anything, in my opinion. They just simply do not. Okay, when I think about all the products and all the components I've owned, I can tell you, again, Griffin, Boulder, Constellation behind me, a lot of different brands, okay? I can tell you from first experience, they do not come close to the upper end brands, okay? There's a gap between past labs and the top tier amplifiers or pre-amplifiers that's there. It's noticeable. The next con, the heat. Guys, past labs products run hot. They just do. Class A or Class AB, guys, they put out heat. If you hate heat, if you live in an area where it's not well ventilated, I simply do not recommend past labs for you, because I am a believer past labs products sound their best after being turned on for a day or two at the bare minimum. Okay? And by then your room is toasty or potentially really uncomfortable to be in. The next con is essentially their design. I want to make sure I'm clear. I am not an electronics engineer. I do not design amplifiers. I do not design preamplifiers. I feel that it is time for them to begin to abandon their design and begin to explore something a little more revolutionary. There is not innovation in past labs anymore. I believe they're stagnant. They've been the same for decades, okay? Again, I am not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I feel other brands have passed by and left them behind. Brands that 20 years ago wouldn't even come close to past labs. And today, the gap between past labs and them is pretty big. Because I just think past labs continues to do the same thing with their design. They believe in their design. They believe in their amplifier topology. So they're comfortable continuing to do this, right? Because it continues to pay their bills. But my problem with that mentality is that you don't really keep up with what's latest and greatest. And you are in an industry where change is rapid. When things begin to change rapidly, I feel that past labs needs to work on a much more efficient design. Like, for instance, and if you guys are familiar with this brand, many of you guys are, Plinius. Plinius has a design that it's Class A when you're listening to music, and after about 15 to 20 minutes, when it doesn't detect any signal, it goes into Class AB and there's less heat. I believe past labs can do this. Now, of course, they're always going to come back and say, well, we don't believe in that because we believe it affects sonics and, the tonality that we want to shoot for. So we believe there is compromises with that. In, incorporating something, a monitoring device or whatever it is. But my point is, you're not really making the sound better, right? And you don't even at least want to figure out a way to make your devices eco-friendly or whatever you want to, eco-friendly, however you want to pronounce it. I have a problem with that. You have to change that. You have to begin to understand you're losing customers by continuing to put out items that are just run hot. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've had conversations with people who I'm working with on my consultation service that I'm offering, and a lot of them tell me I don't want Pass Labs because it runs too hot and I don't have ventilation here in my room. That's what I'm saying. Like, that exists. You have to understand there is money to be made there. There's got to be a way that Pass Labs can create a product that is a lot smarter. Okay, cars are coming out now with technology that shuts off 4 cylinders and leaves you with 4, right? And they consume less gas. You have to figure it out, Pass Labs. People are starting to do this, and I don't even want to tell you how many other amplifier brands are also Class A that have this feature and sound phenomenal. So the next con, I think a big con for Pass Labs product is their size. They tend to be rather heavy amplifiers, bulky, very difficult to place, razor sharp fins. Again, I know this has been their trademark look. This is kind of like the look from the Krell amplifiers from the 90s. I understand that, but I think that, you know, it would be cool for once to begin to change things a little bit, make a little cooler design. You don't have to change the whole line. I think maybe you can put out a model and see what the perception, how it's received by the audiophile community, right? Release one model, make it look a little different, a little interesting, a little more appealing to the eye, right? You have Luxman, for example. Luxman 900U is a gorgeous looking amplifier, right? And it costs right around what your amplifiers cost, most of your amplifiers anyway. So I think that, you know, there's got to be a way to make your product a little more appealing. It's time to clean up that image. I think it has been the same for too long. And then another thing, and again, this is going to be a very, very personal con. When I started this journey, guys, this was the brand that I went after and I was always very impressed by. But as I continue to move up the ladder, even past the XS300s, guys, which are great amplifiers, I'm going to say it, really good amplifiers, I do believe that as you begin to explore with other brands outside of Pass Labs, you begin to realize how, and I hate to do this, but I have to do it, right? Because this is part of the reason why I do this. They are simply mid-fi. I can't really say it better than that, guys. In my opinion, Pass Labs is a mid-fi product. Extremely, some of the top-end mid-fi products that exists. I will say that. But it's not really product that competes with some of the best brands. Guys, you still fall short. Again, here are the top-end brands. Here are the low-end brands. Pass Labs is somewhere here. It never gets here. It never rolls with the big players. It always is a step or two behind them. Okay, and it could be because they're very conservative with their design, and they might feel afraid of venturing out because they probably feel, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's work for them, and it pays bills, and it keeps the company afloat, right? So maybe that's what they're thinking, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, it is a business. If it can't make money, it doesn't make sense, right? But then what happens is you have to be willing to accept that if you're not looking outside the box, you're always going to be here. You're never going to be here. As long as you are okay with knowing that, then yeah, you have no reason to change. You have no reason to change your design. You have no reason to look into investing more money in better circuitry and something just a lot more eco-friendly or more innovation. If you don't want to spend on more innovation and something that the consumer hasn't seen, then as long as Pass Labs and all the end users are okay landing here, never at front of the line, there's nothing wrong. Shouldn't change anything, okay? They should not change anything. Final thing with Pass Labs is I don't know if maybe this is the time where they should explore a new designer, a new lead engineer, someone with fresh mentality. The reason why I say this, guys, is because we see it all the time. A lot of the tech companies out there, you see CEOs that are very old school, right? And the company's doing extremely well, and what happens? They step down, a younger person with new vision, new ideas steps in, and begins to take the company in a new direction. I am going to give you one example. Wilson Audio. Think about it. Daryl right now is doing amazing things with Wilson Audio. I love all the products that he's putting out, the speakers, the Alex V, amazing sounding pieces. Newer person, younger generation, open to social media, understands the impact that you have to keep up or you're left behind. You can't be doing in the year 2021 what you were doing in 1991. It won't work. It won't work. You have to diversify. You have to think of new ideas. And I believe it is a con that Past Labs keeps just the same mentality, and it doesn't begin to think a little more 2021 and looking ahead. They don't believe in incorporating better ideas from fresh mentalities, youth, young engineers. I just feel that they have been always the great brand from yesterday's newspaper. Does that make sense? And we all as audiophiles want new things. I refuse as an end user to buy technology from 30 years ago with today's money. I just don't believe in that. Now, of course, that does not mean yesterday's technology is no great, it's no good. But guys, the reality is fresh money made today wants to buy new things from today. Most of us do anyway. Now, of course, we cannot apply this to every industry. I'm talking strictly audio right now, okay? And I'm not negating how great old products are. They are, but you do not know how far behind they are unless you compare it to something new from today. And that's when reality hits you in the face. And that's when you really realize, wow, I have a dinosaur of an amplifier. Or wow, my amplifier lacks all the resolution from today's better design. That's the truth, guys. I hear it all the time. Okay, I hear it all the time here in my room, and this is why I haven't really had a Past Labs component over the last year or so that lasted very long, because knowing that I have on the sidelines the Griffins and the Constellations of the world and what those products do, it's hard to want to be in front of a Past Labs unless you necessarily have to be in front of it because that's all you can afford. And again, I'm not saying it is a bad product. I'm just keeping it real. It doesn't compete with the best offerings from today. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are looking forward. I am going to try to finish the review for the Griffin Pandora for you all, because I do think that review is overdue, and give you my take on that preamplifier. I haven't decided if I am going to do the Griffin Antillean Evo just yet, but if you have any other ideas with product that I have here, okay, anything that you may want me to talk about, you can leave those comments, okay, below. Don't give me comments about product that I haven't had here. If you want my opinion on things that you have seen on my channel, let me know. Give me your ideas. I can definitely use your input, okay? Just like I used your input for this video. Thank you for your time. Take care now.